just by myself today because Squeaky and Gas couldn't make it. But on today's show, we're going to be discussing some things with two fans of the show, avid fans really, Karma and Styler. That's can we talk, guys?
I was waiting for Karma to talk.
Yep.
Hello.
Yep. Sorry, I pushed the wrong button.
That's fine, my G. Well, anyway, I'm gonna just hop right into it, and I'm gonna say, you've watched LambCast for the past 5 weeks. Well done.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've
There
been
you go.
every minute.
Yeah, exactly. And that's LambCast. That's what we do. We make people enjoy it. So, today I was hoping to get, a couple of people on, which yourselves are here, a couple of fans of the show, maybe talk about the future of the show, what you guys would like to see in the future, and, maybe how your perspective on Siege has changed ever since watching this beautiful podcast.
Don't get me started.
Well, get started, content.
Yeah, let's go. What, so obviously with Siege, I think that's the place to start off at. Yeah, my complete view of Siege has changed. Not in a positive way.
Of course it hasn't.
Least to say.
Well, we're here to point out all the problems. That's why we're here.
Oh, mate. I mean, I don't know if you're the same way, Styler, but literally, I'm at the verge of, I give up with.
I'm exactly the same. I think over time there's more negatives with the game than positives.
I
As
mean,
it's
Yeah.
come on.
we've talked about one positive thing, on the show and in its whole entirety, and that's Tom Wilde's Twitch Rivals experience, and that was positive. That's a good thing that Siege has done, that Twitch has done with Siege. But apart from that, we've talked about the sexism and all that, and that shit is fucked.
Yeah, for sure. I just think over time the game, especially with this season, it's gone more the competitive route, in my opinion. I feel like you need team play. So you can't hop on Siege and just go, oh, I'm just gonna solo today. It's just gonna be fun. I'm gonna have fun. There's not that many positives in the game to be able to do that. I don't know. I've just kind of lost the fun in the game, other than if I'm with a friend playing it or with a squad.
The problem is no one's at their legit rank anymore. You've got boosters, cheaters, people that just even you don't even have to talk about boosting and cheating. Even people that just have got in the mindset of how we are is, I don't really care about the game anymore, and they're just throwing games.
I definitely agree. There's no exact ranking system. Okay, I mean the ranking system's in place, but the ranks don't show the exact skill of players, just because there's things in place that people are doing over time just to change their rank and get higher up in the elo, which is, I don't want to say not legitimate, but it's not their actual rank.
Yeah, no, that's the thing about Siege though, is you get boosters. As it's been, this season's been one of the worst seasons for hacking and DDoSing ever, which is not been a good thing, and that's why I have pretty much stopped playing Siege, not altogether, but just not played it.
Yeah, I definitely toned down on my Siege.
Yeah, I've been focusing on other games. I'm really excited for the COD beta coming out this month. No, actually, that's next month.
Next month, yeah.
Yeah, and
That's not a game I've kept up with, to be fair.
It looks pretty
you
good.
should.
Pretty good.
I've lost my interest for COD as well. I lose game interest after a while of playing them if they just don't improve.
Yeah.
It's definitely not going to be like any other Call of Duty. I would follow it, even if you think that it's just going to be another classic COD. It's going to be such a different.
It's definitely COD over the past 5 years has not been in the best place, but I feel like this is gonna kind of rekindle the love that people have for COD, because I mean it's different. It's a new engine, still got some of the core aspects of COD, but it's more tactical and realistic.
Okay. Yeah, because I had a love for COD,
Hello,
like
guys.
old first in the day COD,
Yeah.
until it hit like COD Ghost days, and that's when it kind of
I mean,
fell down
Ghosts,
for
for what
me.
it was, it was okay for what it was, considering you've got Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, the next 3 years, because like they were all futuristic, and the only good futuristic one was Black Ops 3. That one was done right, apart from like the supply drop system, obviously, because the supply drop system was shit. Like, I mean, supply drops in games are shit, and there's now a law. Well, not well, yeah, it's a law basically, where companies, new games that come out, have to display the chances of getting like a weapon they put in a crate or a skin. They have to display the chances now, otherwise it's illegal. And like people, like, you know what I mean? It's like in Germany and Belgium and all of that, they're trying to get rid of that system because it's gambling essentially. So
Yes, for sure.
in
Yeah.
some instances, basically what's happening in these countries is, since it's considered gambling, uh, they won't be able to release the latest updates. Because in Germany, I think the newest update to GTA, the casino one, isn't allowed because it's got blackjack and all that, which is gambling.
Ah, interesting. I didn't know of that. It's interesting. Because I know the GTA one came out recently, right?
Yeah.
The and I
Especially
know
with,
that I
oh,
go on,
sorry, mate.
Connor.
Especially with obviously like you hear multiple stories of, take for instance Fortnite, where parents are saying, oh, the kids have spent thousands and thousands of pounds on my credit card. Now like they're really having to clamp down on it
I
because
mean,
they,
that's the thing, is like, ever since someone won 3 million, a child, well, not a child necessarily, a teenager won 3 million, as most people know. And now everyone hated Fortnite. Well, it was starting to die down until that happened. Now everyone's fucking sitting sweating their ass off in Fortnite. But like, if it's 3 million, it's 3 million. You know.
yeah,
And there was
yeah,
people that commented on that saying that he should get a life, but like, I mean, he's just made more money than you probably ever will in one day.
yeah, yeah, and it's like I was saying to quite a few people, I hope that he spends it properly. But imagine like yourself, even me as a 22
Yeah,
year old now, someone gave me that sort of money. Imagine the sort of stuff you'd do.
yeah.
In fact, I really don't want to.
No, but the thing is the parents, like Raid said, that's the parents' problem if they steal a card. Fair enough.
But I don't think bank systems allow a 17-year-old to handle over like 1 million or so odd. I
Yeah,
think
no,
that's just
it'll be put in
general.
a savings account
Mm.
Yeah. So it'll
or
be
some
up to the
shit.
parents on what he spends it on and such. It's
Yeah.
not down to him.
Touching on obviously like that topic as well.
Ooh.
I don't know if you've actually seen the stories on how much they've been taxed on it.
No, they wouldn't have been taxed because it's prize money. They can't tax prize money.
They're
Ah, well,
Americans apparently
true.
can. Apparently they've lost like nearly half their earnings, so they're only getting like 1.5,
Yeah,
which I
because you
think's a
get
joke.
taxed. You get taxed twice, right? If
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
mistaken. Yeah.
they've lost a huge percentage of what they actually won, which I think's a. I mean, let's not get into that, but I think that's just an insane amount to be taxed on winning. Especially if they were in the UK, they'd have kept the whole lot.
Yeah.
But I
Just
still
unfortunate.
think, even with the
Oh,
tax,
yeah, everyone in
around
chat.
1.5 million plus is still a
I guess.
huge amount.
It's well,
Oh yeah,
obviously.
hands down.
Like, if I remember, like, COD changed gaming community in terms of esports, and now
Yeah.
Fortnite, for a battle royale game that's not really came into esports, they've done a really good job at it. Not many people are gonna like it, of course. There's gonna be the negative positives about it. But I mean, still a
I mean,
3
positive
million
people that are
prize
good at it have chances, and like, to go further within esports, and like that, it's opening opportunities for esports. But
oh, for sure.
like, the thing is personally, I don't find Fortnite fun. Like, I find battle royale is just a complete dead genre. I
It
don't.
got copy too many times in too many games.
It's the same
That's
thing
what I
every
think.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, if they had left it as just say Apex, Fortnite, and Blackout, I think it would have been a lot more popular. But the fact that pretty much your game couldn't succeed unless it had a Blackout.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. That's like my opinion of it.
Well, Raids has pointed out a good point. I mean, parents are complaining about Fortnite and how their kids are playing for hours and hours. And to be honest, they need to actually be a parent and say no. It's not Epic's fault. It isn't Epic's fault. It's the parents' fault. Because they're not fucking enforcing actions such as taking it off of them after they've said it a certain amount of times. They just end up leaving the fucking room, which is, not parenting.
I mean, with that, I think the way parents look at it is it's a different era now, and it's kids don't go out and play anymore, which is sad.
Yeah, I think it's perspective. They don't see
But I mean,
gaming
as well,
as a career.
think of it though, but like it's a bit dangerous. Like in certain countries, it's dangerous to go outside and like play and shit now because over the years crime has increased and it's became more dangerous. Because think of it, like you see more places in England and Scotland, well Scotland especially, with drugs and people who are considered junkies and just terrible fucking people.
But still, I think that's down to the parents to find a balance for their own kids. If they can balance out them going outside at certain times where certain people aren't about, and giving them the time for their kids to have fun with friends, playing, gaming, whatever, for hours, they just got to find the amount of how much. Like, no matter what game you give a kid, the kid doesn't know how to manage time very well at the age. They're gonna sit on it for hours. They're not time management people. They don't, you know what I mean? So it's mainly the parent to choose time for the kids and weigh it out and stuff.
Yeah, no, the thing is parents do need to intervene more. We've said this in a couple of episodes because, it's turning children, like, if parents continue to let children play games, like, get, like, we've said this as well in many episodes where we talked about toxicity. It's, parents allowing their children to continue playing and, learning all this shit. And then they turn out to be toxic assholes. Like, they should enforce taking consoles off of them, taking, their privileges of internet off of them.
It's with that, sorry, it's sort of like what I said in a few comments back, few episodes back. Like the problem is children have changed now. Like some parents are genuinely worried that if they do that, the kid's gonna hit them, which is a terrible thought to think about. But you do hear about it, like some people are just horrible, even as children, horrible people.
Yeah, but like the thing as well is like you get parents that do that shit, and you get parents that are too laid back and like soft with their fucking children.
Yeah,
like there has to be some form of discipline. It doesn't need to be physical, abuse. It doesn't need to be like even mental abuse. It just needs to be a form of punishment to let them know they've done wrong, and it like not too harsh, but harsh enough to enforce the fact that they will get their console or any privileges taken off of them if they continue with that behavior, and if they don't listen.
Hands down. And as a person, gaming definitely changes you, especially if let's take Siege, which we all love as a topic. If you keep losing multiple games, especially due to like bullshit, like it frustrates you as a person. And sometimes you sit back and think like, hang on, why on earth am I acting like this? Like it's just.
Yeah, no. The thing is though is like there's instances games make you angry. Siege just makes you angry or depressed because it's just like but the thing about Siege though is like it's got this uniqueness about it, where you feel like the community's so toxic that you're just you're depressed to play the game, and if you lose, you're gonna get toxicity from like randoms on your team. Like most randoms on your team nowadays aren't even nice people; they're just cunts.
Yeah.
but like you do run into a few like nice people.
Yeah, I think it's balanced once again. You've got to find the amount of time that you're spending on it. If you get angry at it, take a few
Yeah.
minutes off. It's
Yeah.
finding the balance. Like when you meet one nice person on Siege, it completely changes like your day, how you're playing, stuff like that. You meet an angry person,
Oh, yeah.
toxic person, it changes in
Yeah.
a negative way. It's
Styler,
just different.
did I tell you that I played against the Scottish guy, the guy that said Scottish M word to you? I played against
Oh
him,
no!
and
Oh
we
God.
played on his team once. We played on his team and we played against him, and he was trying to add us all as a friend because I was doing well that game, and we were just like, nah, you ain't getting added, boy, you fucking toxic cunt.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people trying to find their way around to get good people added and then be toxic to people that they don't think are so great in a certain game.
Yeah,
It's just they're trying to make their way up. It's interesting how people go about playing and making friends in a game like Siege, for sure.
yeah. I mean, one of my main co-hosts, Squeaky, he's not here today, unfortunately. Neither is Gas, but that's okay. It's okay. Uh, he was playing with a stack, and he found our friend a stack, and he mainly plays with that stack on Siege now. And he takes Adderall because he has ADHD in that. And he wasn't playing down. He wasn't playing well, and he was on a come down, and he ran out of medicine, so he wasn't playing as like good because he
Best, yeah.
and they said he did bad. Then he didn't want to play with him anymore, and they basically just ignore him now and blocked him and that, I think. And he doesn't play with that
Yeah,
group anymore.
it's weird, the online community, because I remember like back in the day you used to be able to find communities, groups that would let you in, let you play for ages, and now it seems like people are just trying to rise to, I don't know, earn money, fame, certain things, and just try to get the better people, I don't know, of the community, I
Yeah.
guess. And
Th-
it's just if they've got to leave someone behind, chuck someone under the bus, it seems like a lot of people will do it now, and it's kind of not
yeah.
the greatest thing,
That's the thing,
moving
though, is
forward.
like it's the communities became more spiteful and angry, and not like nice individuals. It just became a bunch of toxic people. I mean, like if you think of it, most of the people we know are nice people
Yes,
because
for
we
sure.
sought out to you know encourage people to play with other people and enjoy themselves in a community. But the thing about Siege is like that's hardly the case. In like we've had 2 seasons that were bad for glitches and hacking. You know, uh, Wind Bastion. I was having a good time, even in Outbreak. No, not Outbreak. Fucking what was the Australian one called? Outback. No, what's it called? Outback. Operation. What was the operation called?
Operation for Outback.
Yeah. What?
Oh, was that not
No, it
Wimber?
weren't Paraballoon, were it? Or Wind Bastion?
No, it was not Wind
I think
Bastion. Wind Bastion was year 3 last season.
Yeah,
Let me just Google it.
I can't even remember that.
no,
That's
I'm started thinking about it now.
anyways, we know which one you're on about. Carry on.
Yeah, no. The first season of year 4, the Australian season, obviously. I know that Burnt Horizon. That's what it was fucking called.
There we go.
Yeah, Burnt Horizon. I was even having fun for a bit, but like when all the class shit came out with the glitches and that, it just started ruining it for me. That was
Oh, and the IQ,
that,
yeah.
that was the first part of the downfall for me. And they
Oh my
took
god, Clash out for a month.
yeah, no, they took Clash out for a month. First thing, they put her back in once. She still had the glitch. Had to take her out for a further 2 weeks.
Sounds
Yeah.
like you be.
Like, I mean, yeah, and it's just became more prominent with DDoSers and like hackers. If we said this season's been really fucking bad for it, and I've lost motivation. And all I can say is Siege got me started with streaming, and like that's the only good thing that's came out of Siege for me. And I was actually enjoying streaming Siege. I mean, I still enjoy streaming. Don't get me wrong. I just don't enjoy streaming Siege unless I win and have a fun time. Because when I lose and like I lose consistently, like you know, I can still have fun while losing, but like not all the time. And you know, it fucking annoys me. And
Yeah, I've
the
found that.
but the thing about Siege though is like if next season doesn't, you know, actually improve the game and you know fix many issues it has, I don't think the game's gonna be alive much longer. I mean, it's already
No.
losing players.
I think the problem is with that as well is it does make you sit there and think and be like, well, hang on, do I actually really want to bother with next season? 'Cause, for instance, with me, like this season, I was really looking forward to it. It looks so good.
Yeah, I was looking forward
And
to this season. Yeah, like in the TTS, I was having fun in TTS, but when the live build came out, it just didn't feel right. That
Yeah,
was
I feel this season's definitely I think a lot of people were expecting more than they received. I think
yeah,
the
no,
mental warfare with this season, trying to wanna play it, and then especially when you get streamers playing it, if you lose a game, it completely loses your mentality to want to even play Siege, let alone stream it, because it just
yeah,
becomes so negative, and you don't want that for your stream. But
but
I
like
just feel the mental warfare with Siege right now, especially with playing it cheaters, all the glitches, bugs coming out this season,
yeah.
past season, it's like, do we even carry on?
I mean, yeah, no. The thing is I like to think Siege can get better. I would like to think it would get better, but I don't think it is. And thanks for the raid, Shani, by the way. Halfway conversation, but you know, danka. But, you know, it's not getting better as it seems. Like you know, it's just getting worse as you know a game as a community, and it's honestly just playing with people mentally, and it's fucking you know making them not want to play the game. And like if they don't fix the game, as I said, they're gonna rapidly lose players, and their whole player base is just gonna fuck off to some other game.
hands hands down. I mean, like this is the thing as well. I think it comes down to, yeah, I can understand for say, for instance, the support team. They probably get a lot of inquiries a day about stuff, but it seems like sometimes they're not involved with the community as much. For
Yeah.
instance, Warriors put a clip up on Twitter of somebody hacking,
Mm.
and we got a response back from Ubisoft support saying, "Oh, do you have a question about MMR?" When from the video there was nothing mentioned about MMR.
About MMR. About
Yeah.
MMR. Yeah, no, that also shows how fucking shit their support is. Because if you point out someone's blatantly hacking and you give them the name and they can see they're hacking, they honestly need to stop just sending out, you know, kind of bots, because like, you know, they send out people who are just honestly, I can't deal with this game anymore, to be honest. It's just fucking so annoying.
Yeah, I just it it's one of them games where we know the concept works. They have a good concept of a game that can work for competitive esports and it can work for fun. They've just got to find a balance of having the fun as well as competitiveness for esports and stuff like that. But at the minute, I feel like the amount of bugs, support with them is just going downhill and it's just not working. Like the hacking, the banning system, I feel
Yeah,
needs
no,
a
that's what they
huge
need to fix.
improvement.
They need more people hands-on with the report system instead of just a fucking bot. They need people hands-on to actually go through these fucking reports. And they have to add multiple fucking things like other games do. Like in Fortnite even, it's got, you know, like I don't like the game personally, but its report system has multiple choices. Siege, report for toxic behavior. So, what to you, Ubisoft, is considered toxic behavior?
Yeah, and even things like sexism, I think that should be banned on Siege. Could I believe that's definitely toxic, right?
Yeah, no,
We can see
definitely. Like,
they've definitely not done anything about that.
Yeah,
And
no,
they're hackers. They're still going on bugs. I mean, I remember when I was playing, and when they did the ban wave for exploiting bugs and stuff.
yeah,
That was so good to see that they banned so many people, and then it was just like, oh, it's just 1 or 2 days. Now it's done. Where's the
yeah,
rest of the people? You know what I mean? There are plenty more hackers.
Yeah.
mm,
I think the problem with the banning system though, with like them doing them bans, is it you can pick up Siege for so cheap now that it doesn't really
yeah.
make a difference. They'll
I
just
mean,
jump onto an alt account.
you can go to a CD Keys site and get it for 10 quid on CD Keys, and you can get it. You can hackers sell accounts for like as little as 30p
Yeah,
as well.
it's disgusting. That's why I think they need to change the way they do it and make your account to your IP or your MAC address or something like that. Like, yeah, it won't stop it because some people know how to change that sort of stuff, but there's going to be a huge portion that don't know how to do it.
Mm. Yeah, no, but you know, the thing about Siege is at this point, yeah, like I keep going back to this and I keep saying it, but like I say it every single week that LambCast is on. I've fell out of love with Siege, and honestly, like I don't see the point in going back at like the start of every new season. But
Yeah,
I want
still want
to
to try it.
I want to try it. I want to like the game again. I want to. I
I
don't
need
need
you to
to.
like it so that I can one tap you again.
Uh-huh. Still getting slapped for that, but still. Like the thing is I want to love the game again, and like it's just not happening. It's not going to happen unless they implement changes, have people more hands-on instead of using fucking a stupid bot system. And it's
Yeah, I think it's perspectives and just because us players have this perspective of each of us how we want the game to be, and developers are not at a stage where they're implementing that into the game. So we're just like, well, then what do we do now? We have a game that we like, well, don't like, but we want to like. We know it can do well, but
yeah.
the developers are just not putting in the work to make it too well. So we're
I
just
mean,
like,
the thing is right, they try to fix Siege a lot and all of that, but like, it was more fun when it was broken. Ash had ACOG, fucking drop shotting was a thing. Yeah, it may have been annoying for some people, but the game was more fun and it was more stable than it fucking is now.
It's almost like they need to revert back to a few seasons ago. And
The recoil
work
system,
on-
the recoil system's perfect because they fixed it because there was bullet misalignment. That's a good thing they fixed. But like other things such as lowering the speed of operators, taking Ash's
buses.
ACOG away. Yeah, they wanted to make Ash less useful. But I mean, she still has a weapon with ACOG, and people can fucking slay with the R4C Hollow. So there's really no point in why they took that away.
yeah.
In
Another thing I would like is if Siege had like a questionnaire for the players playing that could recommend stuff
Yeah, no,
or
that's the thing as well is the like Ubisoft and Siege has to
yeah.
listen to the player base rather than
And that
just the
will
fucking
engage it.
pros.
Yeah, it'll engage the connection between players and UB, and it will actually improve the game rather than just taking pros or their only opinion on what will make the game better, other than the people that are actually playing it daily.
Yeah.
It's just they need to find the balance of it.
I
Honestly, I
think
haven't been able to play it daily for the longest while now. But
you
continue,
wouldn't
Connor.
want to, mate.
No, I don't. I
It's
don't.
horrible. The thing is going back to sort of like what you were saying about the developers and caring about the game and everything. It's interesting because I think people would like to know what the developers think to it. Like, surely they can't be enjoying what we're all experiencing. And it's interesting because at Insomnia, there's going to be one of the lead developers there, and
Mm.
I reckon that'll be something that he gets asked quite a lot. Is bad comments about Siege, because
Yeah.
it's not literally just people could come here and say oh, you're just being whiny because you're losing games. But in all honesty, like with me, I don't mind losing a game as long as it was a good game.
Yeah.
Nobody likes losing, but it's part of Siege.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't like to. I would at least like to hope that the developers wouldn't be able to say,
I mean,
yeah, no, we love the game.
sometimes there's just points like I get fucking so depressed with the game. They're like 3-up, it's 3-2 to them, or we've went from 3-1 or 3-0. I'm just like, can we just fucking lose already? I don't want to continue playing this. But then we end up playing more rounds, and it's just I don't want to continue.
Sometimes
but,
the games are too long.
Yeah.
By the time you get to overtime, you can't be asked to play it anymore. You're just like, oh well. If we
You know what I feel like would be a great feature for overtime?
What's that?
Instead of having it be, 2 more rounds it would just be a sudden death thing. In
Yeah.
But how would that
quite
be fair in terms of defense and attacking for a round?
I mean,
How
they
would
could
you play out defense
instead
and
instead
attack?
of that, they could have done something like Showdown where they put both parties outside. First, it sounds stupid, right? But the thing is
No,
it would,
I get what you're saying.
it would make the games go quicker. And, it would make people rely more on aim rather than gadgets and traps and stuff.
Yeah,
You
interesting.
can mix it up and have it where, like, for instance, one team spawn on one side, the other team on the other, and then you literally, it don't matter what op you have, you can pick attack or defense, whichever you
Just
think
like
you'd be strong with, and just go all in.
Yeah.
a recruit warfare Sunday. That
Yeah.
actually sounds sick.
That actually would be mint.
But think of it, they're not ever going to do something like that because they don't want their game to be fun. They want it to be competitive.
Yeah, it is very much like Pro League. For instance, apart from, let's face it, the game's got to the stage now where it's Pro League apart from 6-pick and
Yeah.
seeing what ops they have.
Yeah. Which is,
Just a bit
it's just try to make it more comp level and more ESL rules and shit. And I'm not the biggest fan of that. I mean, obviously, I like comp. I do prefer to play competitively over, just ranked. But, that's not for me.
Yeah, I find this with a lot of games though. They start out and the game started out to be fun. It's got a fun aspect. They bring esports into it and then they focus on competitive. They don't worry about the casual players or the
But,
fun aspect of it. It gets drawn out of the game and it's more competitive based game now, and then it just loses interest of people that were interested from the start.
It loses its appeal because, it's trying to make it more competitive and force people to play with a more competitive style of, gameplay. And
But this is the thing as well. For instance, with you saying about ranked and casual, now say I don't know, say you've got work or something, but you want to play Siege, you pop on for a game of casual. People are try-harding casual more than they are ranked.
oh yeah,
And
they're try-hard and
I don't get it.
casual, and they're more toxic and casual.
Right, here's
not
a
a good
question. Do you reckon the toxic part of Siege comes from the more competitive part over time? Like, when they've gone more competitive route, do you reckon it's become more toxic because of the competitive side or because of just how players have adapted? Does that
I
make
think
sense?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest, because you get some people who could be the nicest person, and then all they focus on is playing the game every day, and people being toxic towards people makes people toxic.
Yeah.
In it's a bit of both because you can get the standard player who's toxic as fuck, and you can get someone working towards a more competitive level, and when they get there, they can play a completely different person.
Yeah, I get you on that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Because I find when games start out, it's generally less toxic just because the fun aspect is there.
Yeah.
When I'm playing from personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I find as time goes on, when you first play a game, you're so excited to play it, right? You just
Yeah.
buy the game, you install it after so many hours, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna have fun on this. And then
Yeah.
I feel over time, because you play it so much, competitive, different updates, you've had the experience, it just doesn't become as fun as it did at the very start.
Yeah, no, that's the thing though, is because more and more every day games are becoming a job for most people. Well, not most people, but you know what I mean. A
A lot
certain
more
group of
people.
people focus on turning gaming into a job now. So, you know, it's changing them as a person and adapting them into something different.
But I mean, I definitely think the job appeal is definitely there for the gaming community and
I mean, it's there because you
esports.
get to stay in your own house. You get signed to a
Yeah.
team. Legit, you need to just play games and, you know, win. And if you don't win, it's not the end of the world because there's more fucking tournaments. There's more opportunities. Come on, there's Challenger League, there's ESL Prem, there's Rally Majors, there's Minors, there's DreamHack, there's Paris Majors and all that shit. There's just a bunch of, you know, events and, you know, tournaments that you can participate in. And as long as you're backed by, you know, an org, and as long as you have a strong team, and, you know, you're willing to learn, you're willing to, you know, be good at the game, you're willing to, you know, put the hours in, you can make it. But, like, at what cost sometimes? Because if you think of it, there's been, you know, players who were nice, then they fucking start playing comp, they get places, and they become the most toxic person ever.
For sure. I mean, you find this with kids like the Fortnite kids, for example, their tournament. I know there was like a 16-year-old that came in top 10 or something. He won like £1 million. At what stage does the hours combine to like him going to school or something like that? Could change his
I mean, think of
complete
it as well,
life
it's like,
around.
with Fortnite, orgs are, like, getting in younger and younger players because it's a 12 rated game. Legit, the only reason players as young as like 16, 14. In FaZe, there is a 14-year-old professional player.
Well, there was an 11-year-old or something. There was
Yeah,
controversy
yeah.
about that.
And he got banned on Twitter and shit. I don't know why, but, you know, they've got 14-year-old FaZe Mongrel, who was recently in Team Secret.
Yeah.
And, I mean, fair dues, you know, you're fucking in a big organization, and you're doing all this shit, but, like, you know,
But my main worry for them is over time, of course, that's not going to become full time because
yeah,
the
no,
game's
that's
going
the
to die
thing though
out.
as
They're going to
well.
have to switch around.
Yeah,
It's a struggle of
like,
how long they're going
most
to last.
comp, right? Well, listen, this is what happens to most comp players, or, you know, internet personalities. If you're a comp player, you either switch to another game and do comp, or you become a content creator, and you see how long that lasts. In other instances, people have, you know, played comp. They've got to a certain point. They've never found another game to go to. They've never dabbled in content creation. They've ended up having to work regular jobs. And the worry is for these younger comp players. Yeah, they're in now. They're in pretty young, right? But what if that scene dies out and they can't move on to another game? They can't move on to content creation.
Yeah, that's my main worry for them because they will leave
And
education.
if they, yeah, no, and that's the thing.
for
FaZe
it.
Mongrel, the only difference is he's got, like, he's homeschooled, so his parents are at least taking some, you know, intuition in, like, you know, making sure he still has some form of education.
Yeah, but I things like this is not talked about in the mainstream. It's just talked about the prize pool and
Yeah.
winning the events. It's not talking long term for the
Yeah. But also the
people.
thing is like, the best thing you can do if you're starting to get into comp is make sure you have a job just to back yourself up in case it doesn't go through. This is Pengu said this at an interview at ESL Prem in Leicester on the ESL Twitter. I watched that, and he said, just, you know, do your best. Make sure you have some sort of fallback, like education or a job, so you can support yourself. And like, yeah, 100% agree with that. You don't just go quit your job to pursue full time, or you quit your education to pursue full time. The only time that happens is when you know you're consistently winning and you know you can do it. But like, even then, like, at what cost? Because what if you do start winning consistently, but, you know, a month or two into it, you can't play because you've broken a wrist or something, or you've had some form of injury that doesn't allow you to play, and you don't have anything to do, and you, like, you know, if you run out of money or some shit, you either have to go and get a fucking job, or, you know, benefits, like, you know, job center and shit. But like, the thing is like, that's the best advice you can be given, is make sure you have a fallback.
Oh, for sure. It's, I don't know, these younger competitive players I find are good for the competitive scene, getting younger people in, but it's also a worry of what do they have if this doesn't work, and then it's impacting so many more young people to try this, and then they're just losing their education or something else, and then it becomes a worry for not only the parents to stress out and then complain at the organization of the game. It comes a whole circle around of just not being good.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Knew it was gonna happen at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah. You were waiting for that, weren't you?
Yeah, I definitely was.
But anyway, I would like to move on from all the gaming stuff and talk about LambCast as a show. And, you know, obviously you are, you know, long-time viewers of the show, even though it's had, you know, 5 whole seasons, not seasons, fucking 5 whole episodes. Imagine if it was a season-based show, yikes, 5 seasons. So it's an episode a season. Nice. But
Well calculated.
Episode 1.
But yeah, obviously you're long time viewers of LambCast, and, you know, it seems to still have some form of, you know, siege related things, but, you know, I'm thinking, because it's kind of straying a bit away from siege, just a tiny bit. But like, I don't know, like, you as an audience, what would you like to continue seeing? Would you continue to want to watch siege related things, or would you like it to move on to more, you know, gaming news, industry news, people in, you know, streaming, like switches, like big switches, like Ninja going to Mixer, kind of like, you know, news and shit, and talking about certain subjects, like, you know, not just stuck down to one thing. Obviously, we will be keeping the siege element, because, you know, that's what started this podcast. This was a podcast originally meant to be talking about siege and its problems, and occasionally good things that happen.
Yeah, Carmen, do you want to start?
Yeah, so obviously, like, for instance, the other week when you were talking about the like Alinity stuff, obviously it's still related to gaming, and I think it's a topic that everybody like was talking about. So...
I don't think we should talk about that though, because, you know, Twitch is banning people. Yeah.
Is
Twitch,
it? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like when just topics of stuff that's happening.
And there's been another instance like that. Is there was this girl on YouTube, I forgot her name, but she was doing her channel's fully focused on her dog, and she was doing the Saram Wrap prank people do on her dog, and this was reported on Drama Alert last night. I forgot her name, but basically, yeah, her. And she meant to upload the Saram Wrap, the edited version, but she uploaded an unedited version that showed her slapping and spitting in her dog's face.
So back to the LambCast. I don't want to talk about dogs.
Yeah, no, we can't. We can't.
No. I find.
Oh, you have a hotel?
Best thing
Nice.
for you to do is talk about gaming related and what you're interested in, what you're seeing around, rather than forcing yourself to stay on siege on something you don't enjoy. Because I feel like us as a viewer, we're gonna listen and enjoy something that you're actually into or you're up to date with or something like that, rather than something you're not so enjoying, like Siege at this moment, for instance. I just feel that's best for an audience to watch.
Yeah. Obviously, I want it to be, you know, a positive show because, you know, that's what people like. They like people being positive, but, like, you know, that's not the case all the time with Siege. So, like, you know, moving on from that, I wanted to end up doing 2 episodes at some point. That's why I put out a poll. So one day we're going to have a dedicated Siege day. That's what I was thinking. And one day we just talk about general, you know, gaming related news and things happening in the gaming scene. But I'm thinking of literally just turning the Siege thing into a segment, because, you know, we could talk about something in the gaming related news, and we can, like, you know, do a weekly update on what's happening in the Siege world, and still get guests on for, like, you know, Siege related things. And the thing about it is like, you know, it's a bit iffy when it comes to Siege due to the fact of it's becoming less popular, and, you know, it's becoming more toxic. And, you know, I want to keep it, you know, I want good vibes on this show. And I do want to discuss serious issues like, you know, sexism, like the episode we did with Bella, the sexism and harassment and the toxicity. I also want to continue doing the good things, like the second episode where we talked about Tom Wild's, you know, Twitch Rivals experience. And, you know, obviously I want to do the segment I started the episode, the 4th episode of LambCast, which was, you know, the end of the month episode, where we recap on our best bits of, you know, LambCast at the end of the month. So I'm gonna obviously continue with that, because that was, you know, more of a fan engagement episode. And basically, yeah, legit. The thing about it is, you know, I thank everyone who's, you know, watched LambCast for the past 6 weeks now, 6 episode. And, you know, we wouldn't have been able to continue if we, you know, didn't have people that like watching the show.
Yeah, for sure. I find as well that when you do the top bits of LambCast and engage with the audience, it's not focused on, like, just the guests. It's focused as well on audience questions, audience opinions.
Yeah, no, that's what we want to do with the show. We want to interact with the audience. We want them to know we appreciate them, and, you know, we want their output and well, you know, input on situations, and we want to take suggestions from them. Because, you know, it brings a more personal touch to the show. And, like, that's the good thing about it being streamed instead of just recorded.
Oh yeah, it's like, you know, like, hands down, on a Friday, I know, right, like, no matter what I'm doing, 6 o'clock, LambCast, I always know that.
And if you miss it, you can always watch it on, you know, recap on YouTube. Today we're we've got a couple of fans on, Styler and Karma, and we're talking about, you know, what they feel like they would want to see in the future for LambCast, and we were talking about how they feel about Siege after watching LambCast, and, you know, discussing the issues of, you know, sexism and all that, and toxicity. And also, you know, like, you know, if you would like to continue, guys, you know, ask away. You know, say what you want. It was my inventing, Gus.
He got replaced.
No, he didn't get replaced. It's just, you know, I only needed 2 people on. But, you know, I'm myself today as a host. And I thought Gus was coming, but it's okay. I'm sorry, Gus. You'll be on a future episode.
I find this LambCast to be easier to follow along and watch than past podcast or certain things I've watched, because it's just so more fluidly based. You have a topic, you ask questions, you engage with the audience. Even if I'm watching it on YouTube, I still feel like I'm in with the whole thing. It's not like, oh, I'm just watching this person do a podcast. It's like, oh, I'm actually in the podcast with this person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not.
Also, Brad's brought up something we were talking about, people and how they've become more toxic as, you know, pro players. We were talking about this, Brad, and we were discussing how, you know, people can be the nicest people, but when they reach the pro scene, they do become fucking toxic as shit and a bit immature. I like how you point out that part, that we do, as the Siege community, have some of the most immature pro players. That is true.
But I think it just conveys the whole scene of Siege. When people get into the game, right, the thing they eventually watch is the pro scene, right, the esports.
Yeah.
The toxicity of, or the image conveyed by them is, at some extent, gonna convey or just go into that player's mind, going into Siege. So when you hit pro scene, you know you made it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, at what extent are you like being a bit immature and negative?
Maybe
I mean, that's the thing though, is like they like to show off, you know, and Brad's pointed out, especially NA are a bit more immature. And that is some instances the case, if you think of it as well, like, you know, like Prodcos? I meant to say COD pros, a bit of spoonerism as Fran would put it. Yeah. But, yeah, in some instances. Oh, wait, you put someone on Twitter, Brad? Let me see this. Notifications.
I think it's kind of as well, if people are watching these pros and seeing how immature they are, they bring it into game and they think it's totally acceptable because this guy's made it as a pro.
Definitely. I don't know if it's more NA or EU. I mean, there's certain extents to both. I still think that EU players still can be toxic.
Yeah, you're a bit like me, but it's
pro or not, they're still the extreme toxic players. Like the person that said the thing when we was in the game lab.
Oh yeah, no, obviously, yeah, they tried to act as if they didn't do it when I played with them. Mew was there as well, and so was Elo.
But it is like a when I feel like the game has hit a point where players don't know when it's okay to be toxic or it's okay to be nice and actually play the game. I feel like the amount of nice people to toxic people that is, like, in terms of ratio,
it's like 5 to 1, 10 to 1 at least. 10 to 1.
Yeah, it's not really evened out or in a good.
That's the thing though, is like, you know, yeah, no, it's not evened out at all. It's we're talking about, you know, talking to a couple of fans of the show, you know, Karma and Styler. That's the topic today, you know, about how they feel and what they want to see from LambCast in the future and their opinions on Siege ever since watching LambCast in the past 6 weeks. That's what we talked about. That's what we've been talking about. You know, we're trying to keep the ball moving anyway.
Let's shorten it. We both used to enjoy Siege. Not anymore.
Yeah. No. You know, we've had a few instances, you know, a few episodes, you know, that may have swayed some opinions of people. And that's, you know, what we want to do. You know, we want to, you know, bring limelight to the things, positive and negative. Especially negative, because there's more negative than positive in Siege. Oh. Mew, be nice. Yeah, but like that's about it really, and you know, we wanted to, you know, I wanted to get input from, you know, some viewers, you know, what they want to see from the future, and you know, if we just want it to be strictly Siege, or we just move on to, you know, gaming related news and, you know, everything gaming related, you know, such as, you know, big topics such as Ninja Movement Mixer and all that stuff, and yeah. That's really what it was about today, and you know, just.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't stay just on Siege.
I'm probably not going to. I'm probably gonna make it. There will in the future be, you know, just Siege related, like, you know, podcasts. But you know, I want to broaden the horizon of the podcast. Yo, X, I see you.
Sure.
Thanks for the follow,
as well, the guest as well. The variety of guests, like you've gone to viewers now, you've done Twitch streamers.
We've done streamers. We've done Deadbird, who is an amazing artist. He also made Karma's logo recently. And
yes, very
and
nice
I feel
logo.
like when you touched in, for example, with Deadbird, you didn't just talk about his artwork. You did that, and you also linked in his personal life, how it's helped him. Stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's just like really good to
That's the thing though, is
express.
we want to engage with people. We want to get it out there that, you know, everyone's just, you know, a person. Everyone has their ups and downs with Siege. Everyone we talk to, we, you know, get a bit of personal stuff about them. We want to know what games they're excited for. For instance, what games are you excited for, guys? Because we're now at that segment.
Tom Clancy Breakpoint, hands down, looked insane.
Okay, so Ghost Recon.
Cyberpunk, Call
Of
of
course.
Duty is a
Of
definite.
course. Yeah.
Pokemon, Sword and Shield, they look really good as well. That's like my
Pogs.
little nerdy side.
Yeah.
So you have a bunch of games. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not excited for any game right now. I may look into COD. That's about it. I'm not excited for
Sourpuss.
any game.
Well,
I don't know.
it changes a bit every week for me, because, you know, games that I was excited for came out like a couple of weeks ago. And, you know, I'm excited for, well, more of an expansion. I'm excited for Shadowkeep. I'm excited for the COD beta coming up in September. I'm excited for COD that comes out in October. You know, just that's about it.
Gears
Cyberpunk,
5, yeah.
Outer Worlds.
Oh yeah, Outer Worlds is another one that looks really good.
I don't know what else, honestly. Like that's the main four things I'm excited. Detroit Become Human, PC release. Said this every week. Yeah, you know, if you want to type in chat games you're excited for, I think I know a few already, but you know what actually looks decent? Code Vein. It's more of a weeb. Dark Souls.
Control is another one that actually looks really good. It's
Mm.
going to be a PS4 exclusive, if I remember, but that's sort of like
Borderlands 3. Yeah,
so-
that's one. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not
obviously
excited
Borderlands
for
3.
that. I don't know.
I think the problem is at the moment, like, there's everyone's so fixated on
Halo
one
Master
game, and
Chief
there's not really
Collection.
any.
Steam.
Yeah, I mean, like at the moment, there's not really everyone's fixated on one game, and there's not any games coming out like major titles now until 2020.
Yeah.
So I think at the moment,
Cyberpunk is
nobody
literally the
really
biggest
knows.
one everyone's excited for. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Keanu Reeves called everyone breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I only get excited for games within like maybe a week or a month of their release. I don't, not like a year in advance. I'm not.
I mean, I've been excited
Excited.
for Cyberpunk ever since it was originally fucking announced. Because it's CD
Oh, it is gonna
Projekt
be
Red. It's CD Projekt Red. How can they fuck up a game? They've made the Witcher series. Witcher 3 especially. Oh,
Yeah.
that was the. I can get lost with Witcher 3.
To be fair, speaking of Witcher
Whoa.
3, though, obviously they're doing that. Is it on Netflix? The Netflix series they're doing.
Yeah,
as
the
well.
Witcher series.
That
I'm
looks really
excited for
good.
that.
That looks so good. So it's amazing to see where that game's come from. Like,
Yeah, no, obviously it was a book originally, and the guy's a bit of a dick. The actual writer is a cunt, because he sold CD Projekt Red the game rights for cheap as fuck, because he didn't think it would go anywhere, and now he wants a shit ton of money. Shit ton of money.
It's amazing how people.
But he's not
change
getting it,
things and
'cause
money
it-
involved in it.
He fucking sold them the rights. He sold
Like an
them the
idiot.
rights to the game for like 9k. Well,
Idiot.
it may have been a bit more, but like the Witcher books are even good, and I would recommend you read them. But you know, it's if you don't like reading, then don't. Obviously.
Oh yeah, I like to read sometimes. Not too much though.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not big on reading. I know. I prefer playing and visuals than reading.
Yeah, no, of course. And you know, obviously the thing is like, you know, all these game adaptations are getting TV series. And you know, it's just it's aight. It's aight, but if they don't fuck it up, it's gonna be amazing as fuck. Because it's
That's what I
Witcher.
find with a lot of games. They make it become so hype and the expectations for players that are about to buy it or something beforehand
Muse never read a
or
book.
pre-order it is
Yeah.
better than what actually comes out.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because sometimes, like, books, like, think of it, book to movie adaptation. Okay, Lord of the Rings, the books are completely different from the movies because they can't do as much because books are hours and hours and hours. With a movie, they have a limitation. They can't release a fucking 12-hour film in like one movie. You get what I mean? So that's
Yes,
why
for
they do
sure.
multiple films to tell parts of the story. But like, think of it, Lord of the Rings is long as fuck, and they released Hobbit, which wasn't as good as Lord of the Rings, which was the
Will you read
prequel.
the books again?
Nah,
Say that they're too long. 40.
I mean you watch
I
the
feel
films and you
like-
basically you get the basic concept. It's just the battles aren't as thingy. Wait, like legit, a fake read them at school. Wow, that is a big yikes, Mew. That is also plagiarism. But coming to we've went for an hour and a bit, so I'm gonna start closing up the show soon. But I would like to thank you two for coming along today. I would like to thank everyone who's been in the chat today. Thank Shani
No
for
problem, mate.
thank Shani for the raid. Thank X for the follow. Thank Ems for the host.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure
Yeah.
to be here. We've definitely had a lot.
I'm
to talk
gonna,
about.
and if you want to check out some very nice streamers, twitch.tv/Styler__ is it? Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
And /TV. No, www.twitch.tv/It's the Karma on Twitch. If a mod was here, they could link them. But thank you for everyone coming along today. Thank you two for coming on the show, obviously. And
Pleasure, mate.
it's been LambCast, and thank you everyone for coming along today. I said it so many times, but I really do appreciate every single one of you. And you know what? It's been LambCast, and good night.